Hello and welcome into NASCAR Talk. I'm your host, Bair, sitting alongside Blake Anderson, or as he's more famously known, the voice of the largest dirt track in the world, the Knoxville Raceway in Iowa. We're here to talk about some NASCAR things today, some NASCAR issues, what's going on around the circuit. We're going to get into a little Dale Earnhardt Jr. discussion and basically Little E's reemergence on the circuit. Personally, I think a lot of it has to do with crew chief Steve Letarte. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is currently third in the points this year. He's 6 behind second place man Brad Keselowski and 12 behind Jimmy Johnson. So is it fair to say that if Letarte is the reason that Jr.'s coming back, that maybe the Uries were the reason that he wasn't getting to where he wanted to go?
I think it's a combination of having the new crew chief and confidence. Confidence more than anything. Dale Jr.'s rolling into racetracks right now with his confidence in an all-time high. Last year he ended that 4-year win streak, 4 years to the exact race. 2008, the summer Michigan race, picked up that win and hadn't won until last year, 2012, in that summer Michigan race. So now he's got some confidence brewing, and this past weekend was the first weekend on the whole entire circuit this year that he'd finished outside of the top 10.
Getting back to Steve Letarte, though, I want to read you a little bit about what he had said at the conclusion of the 2012 season. He said, I think there were two races where we were the dominant car. We won one of them at Michigan, and on the first one, Pocono, I think we had the dominant car, but we didn't win. Of those 34 races that are left, there were probably 4 or 5 we put ourselves in position in terms of pit strategy. To become a dominant team, you need to have enough speed that you have a dominant car in 4 or 5 races, and then you put yourself in position in another 6 or 7 in terms of pit strategy. So can Steve Letarte and Dale Jr., can they be a dominant car 4 or 5 times during the Sprint Cup schedule? And does Steve Letarte have the capabilities working with Dale Earnhardt Jr. to put themselves in position half a dozen times with pit strategy?
I definitely think that Steve Letarte, great crew chief, worked with Jeff Gordon in the past, and that's kind of where I feel like he made his name for himself. Moved on, now he's with Dale Jr., and they were very fast last year. One win, you talked about they could have won 5-6 races last year. One race that comes to mind that they probably arguably should have won, the Kansas race, when they ran out of fuel leading in the Kansas spring race. Very good race that Dale Jr. ran, just came up a little short on the pit strategy, but I expect a handful of wins out of Dale Jr. as we talked about when we started talking about it. Confidence at an all-time high for him right now, and he knows, got a good crew chief, I've got a good car everywhere I go, I can be a car to win, and I don't think he's had that confidence the past 5 years.
Jimmy Johnson winning last week at Martinsville, that marked his 8th career win at the short track. The King, Richard Petty, has 15 career wins at Martinsville. Jimmy, if he retires at the same age as Richard, will have 33 races left at Martinsville. Fair to say that he could have a chance to take down the King's record at the short track?
I think that's definitely possible. Every time I think of Martinsville, the first guy that comes to mind, Jimmy Johnson. My question is, what's he going to do with all those grandfather clocks? Now he's got 8 grandfather clocks. I mean, that's about one for a room, and he's got a new baby on the way. They just came out the other day and said that. So Genevieve, she can get a couple clocks in her room maybe, and now the new baby this fall.
Absolutely. It seems like every child in the Johnson household is going to have a grandfather clock in their room, whether they like it or not. Thanks for joining us on NASCAR Talk. For Blake Anderson, I am Bair, and we will join you back next week.